Alright, so I got something in today, something new. It's not quite as exciting as some of the other new stuff I get. It's not an amp or a guitar or an effect unit or something like that. It's really easy to get excited about that stuff. When you go find something like the Katana, great amp, or whatever. When you find something like that, it's really easy to get super excited about it. And if you're anything like me, I'm a gearhead. I spend a good bit of time thinking about and looking at and reading about different stuff that's out. So, like I said, if you're like me, it's really easy to get excited about that stuff, and I'm just absorbed into it and think about it a lot. But there's a one part of our sound that most of us don't put much thought into, and that's a shame. And that's what I got today. So here's what it is. These are called Chickenpicks. I bought a trial set of these off of their website. It has one of each type they make, basically. We'll look at each one in a little bit and try them out. But these are very cool. They're made of some sort of resin thermoplastic stuff. It's a different material than your normal picks, nylon or whatever. Now, for the longest time, my favorite pick, my go-to, has been this right here. It's a point. I can't even read the size. 0.6 thickness. Just nylon type pick, and it's got this star cut out in the middle of it. It helps you hold a grip on it. Now, I still like these. They're still good. They're still my favorite pick for now, and they have been for years. I've used these probably for the past 5 years pretty much exclusively. But we're going to try out these Chickenpicks. A lot of people I've talked to said they're really good, and they really like them, and they do feel pretty good. We'll see how they play in a little bit. We'll see if they can take the crown from the star pick here. Okay, so here we have a quick look at just the what they call light and regular Chickenpicks. They're basically the same shape as your standard pick there, but they are a good bit thicker, as you can see. This one is the 2.2 millimeter. They also make I believe it's 3. This here is what they call the shredder. It's a similar sort of shape to a regular pick, as you can see, and it is sort of similar thickness of one of these. It's actually a 3.5. You can see there, but it is beveled a little differently. It actually comes to sort of more of a point, and I guess it's meant more for shredding. Hence the name. This one is what they call the Bermuda 3. It is a different shape, as you can see. It has one rounder point here, and the 2 sharper points there, and you can really use all 3 points as a pick, so it's almost like 3 picks in one, which is very cool. This again comes in 2 sizes. This is the 2.7, and I believe it also comes in like a 3 or something like that. Alright, and this one here is what they call the Bad Az, A-Z-Z. It's meant to be sort of like a Jazz 3 sort of shape. So smaller than your standard pick. A good bit thicker. This one's a 2.5, and I believe they also make again like a 3 point something. And they have the one pointed side and then the rounded top, but again you could use the other sides if you wanted. So it's almost like 3 in 1 too. I don't have a sticker for this one because I gave that away to somebody. I actually passed out 3 picks today to people at work who I know play, because this pack I got came with the light and the regular, and then both sizes of the Bad Az and the Bermuda. And then Eppo with the Chickenpicks. He's the guy who invented them and makes them and sells them. He also threw in some little extras. I'm not sure why. It might be because of shipment issues. I don't know. But he threw in one of these, which is a Velcro cable wrap that says the guitar pick that rocks, Chickenpicks. So it's a little free advertising for him too. Again, can't hurt that. And then this was in there too. It almost looks like just a keychain, right? But it's actually pretty nifty. You can pop it open, slide you a pick in this little pouch, close it up, and you'll always have a pick on you.
All right. So we're going to do a quick little playthrough demo thing here to sort of see how the chicken pick, which we've got right here, affects the sound, basically. So I'm sort of going to play the same little part, riff, lick, whatever you want to call it, using a variety of picks here. I've got the thinnest one is a 0.46 millimeter Jim Dunlop nylon, super floppy. I really do like these when I'm playing acoustic rhythm because I can do lots of fast strumming and stuff, but don't use them much on electric. We'll start with that one. And then I've got a 0.5 millimeter Jim Dunlop that's, I don't think it's nylon, it's a different material. Then we've got what has been my pick, the one I like for the past probably 5 years or so. It's the Star pick. This is the 0.6, the 60 millimeter, I believe. The next one I've got here is another Jim Dunlop nylon. This is a 1 millimeter, so we're moving up in the world. And then I've got this here. It's an Alice pick, which I don't know what brand that is. I got a bunch of these for Christmas one year in my stocking or something. All like a variety of sizes and colors and that sort of stuff, but they're not bad. It's a plastic pick. It's just kind of what you'd expect. And then we have the chicken pick. I'm using the regular one, and this is the 2.2. And then just for fun after that, we'll use the shredder, which is the 3.5, and we'll sort of see how that affects the tone of what I play. So here we go. And now we are on to the chicken pick. It feels good. And here is the shredder, the big one. This actually has some weight to it. Feels pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not really I've never in the past been a huge fan of the thick sort of picks. Honestly, that 0.6 Star pick was about as thick as I like to go for the most part. Just because the big picks, they didn't feel right in my hand. I don't know what it was about them, but these chicken picks actually feel really good. They don't. I mean, they're thick. But they feel really good. You don't have to hold them very hard. Because of how thick they are, you don't have to squeeze them quite so hard to keep. You don't have to play as hard, so you don't have to hold them as hard to keep a grip on them, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm kind of digging them. Let's do a little, turn a little distortion on or something. And we'll do the same sort of thing. That is our little thin Jimmy. Alright. Here's our star pick. I still like them, I'm not gonna lie. Here's our 1mm Jim Dunlop. Alright, here's that Alice pick, the 1.2. And we are back to the Chickenpicks here. Yeah, I'm liking the Chickenpicks so far. Now, granted, I've had them for about a day so far, so this is sort of a first impressions here. But my first impression is they feel good. They sound good. Feel good, sound good. I haven't lost it yet. It's always a good sign. So we will continue to play with these for the next week or two or month or whatever I decide to do, and then I'll come back and do a sort of second impressions video and let you know how I feel about them after having played with them for a while, and we'll see how they hold up to being played a lot. I generally play combined between everything at least an hour a day of something. So they won't be sitting around, they'll be getting used. So far, out of the ones I've tried, I'm kind of digging the shredder. Probably because it's still got more of a traditional shape than the other ones. The Bermuda and the Bad As are kind of cool because they got the 3 different sides and they're like 3 picks in one, but it's a different shape than I'm used to. I haven't played with those size or those shaped picks for the most part, so they might take a little more getting used to. But this, we're going to do a quick acoustic test. We've had
done acoustic yet. Same thing. We're going to go through the same progression of picks, but with an acoustic. So here we go. Alright, that's the little real thin Jim Dunlop. Here's the next one up. Next one up is our star pick. Alright, next one up is that 1mm nylon. Next up is the 1.2 Alice pick. And the moment of truth, the chicken pick. Here we go. I'm really surprised by that one. Real quick, I'll do the shredder just because it's over here. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm blown away by that one. Normally, thick picks and acoustic guitars and me just don't get along because, like I said, I like to do lots of little flourishes or fast strums or whatever you call them. And it might be because when I was learning to play guitar, I listened to a lot of Shane Bernard, and he does that a lot. But whatever it is, I like doing that. When I'm playing acoustic. And I found that when I try to do that with thicker, traditional sort of picks, like say this Alice pick, this traditional plastic thick pick, it doesn't sound right for one thing, and it probably doesn't sound right because I don't play it the way I normally would. Because with a little floppy pick, I can get that really loose wrist going and not have to worry about it. But I can't do that with those thicker plastic picks. But this chicken pick, I actually can do that motion that I need to do to make those sort of strums. But it's thick enough that if I want to throw a little lead line or a little run or whatever in there, I can do that. It's really hard to play any sort of lead stuff with these little flimsy picks. Hard, practically speaking, but just because they bend so much. I mean, these literally you can bend all the way over and they flop right back. You're not bending a chicken pick, but just, yeah. So I'm very impressed. This is probably the most impressive test of them right here, was playing the acoustic with them. Who would have guessed? Who would have thought? Okay, so we're going to look at it for bass too. I don't usually play bass with a pick, so keep that in mind. And I definitely don't usually play with these little floppy things, but we're going to do the same thing we did with the others. We're going to start off with a little skinny one and move our way up to the chicken pick. So here we go. the next one. Alright. We're on to the star pick, which is my previous favorite. Here we go. Alright. Next up is the 1mm. Here's that 1.2 Alice pick. Alright. Now we are on to the 2.2 Chickenpicks. And now the 3.5 Shredder Chickenpick. Okay, so here we are, 6 months or so in from having purchased the Chickenpicks. And where do we stand? What's the final verdict, so to speak? And the answer is pretty simple, at least for me. First off, just so you can look at them, these are the two I've mainly been using. They're my two favorite styles, the Shredder and the, which one is this? Bermuda, I believe, or Badass, I don't remember which one. But these are my two favorites. I've used these pretty much non-stop for anything, every time I've played, one or the other. I've played the crap out of them, and they are still, I mean, they're fine. There's a teeny little bit of wear on the tip of the Shredder. There's maybe a little bit of wear on the tips of some of the tips on this one, but they're still perfectly good. They still play great. They still feel great. They haven't lost them. So that's a good thing. Now, so what's the final verdict? What do I say? Should you go buy some? And the answer is kind of twofold. If you're someone who loses picks a lot, no, because they are a little expensive. I don't remember exactly what the price on them is, but the tryout pack that has like one of each is $30 something for 7 picks. So that's what about $5 a piece. So yeah, they're a little pricey, but they're worth it if you're someone who doesn't lose picks a lot. Okay, I don't lose them very often. I haven't lost any of these. I did give away 3 of them to guitar players I know, so they can try them out too. And they've all said they like them too. So there's that. But yeah, they're great if you're someone who can hold on to a pick. Now, if you're someone who loses your pick about every, time you play, then yeah, don't bother with these because you'll spend way too much money on picks. If you're that type of player, you need one of those pick punch things and a bunch of old credit cards.
or just some little cheap Dunlop picks or whatever other kind of pick you like. Choose your poison. But if you can hold on to a pick for a while and not lose it, definitely try out the Chickenpicks. They're awesome. They're my go-to pick at this point. The Shredder is probably my favorite, but I do like the fact that this one has the 3 different sides. So, like, if one were to get worn out, you could just sort of flip it around to the other one. That's kind of cool. They do have a new style coming out soon, apparently, that's kind of like this one, but it's all the pointy end instead of having the one sort of rounded off end. So that's good. So that's the final thoughts on Chickenpicks from me. Be sure to leave some comments if you have a different experience with them or if you agree with me or whatever. And y'all keep on having a good day.